Well, this is a really interesting question tonight. Can police actually force you to hand over the passcode to your cell phone? Well, that question will now soon be decided by the Indiana Supreme Court.
Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel explains tonight how the case could impact every Hoosier who uses a cell phone.
Just think about all the information you store on your cell phone. Information about you, your family, where you've been and what you've been doing day by day, minute by minute. Well, what if police want that information as they investigate a possible crime? Do you have to allow access to your phone, including handing over your passcode? Indiana's Supreme Court is about to decide just that.
We're talking about the intimate details of somebody's life, everything that's on their phone. I mean, really, it's almost an extension of you.
William Webster will argue the case before the Supreme Court. He represents a client accused of stalking and harassing a former boyfriend. Police got a warrant to search her phone for evidence, but she refused to give her passcode, saying forcing her to reveal that information would violate her Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate herself. A Hamilton County judge found her in contempt and ordered she go to jail if she did not reveal her passcode to police. But the Indiana Court of Appeals disagreed. It sided with her, saying the woman does not have to simply hand over her passcode. The case is so important, the Indiana Supreme Court has decided to get involved, and it will hear the case this spring.
You might be thinking, well, I've never been accused of stalking and I've never committed a crime, so how does this case impact me? Well, the truth is, you don't have to be a criminal to be affected. Even if police think that you might have witnessed or committed a crime, they could try to subpoena your phone and your passcode.
You don't get to hide evidence just because you don't want the police to see.
Stephen Creason is the Deputy Attorney General who will argue the other side of the case when it goes before the Indiana Supreme Court. He says a ruling against police in this case could have a devastating impact on their ability to investigate crimes.
The system would completely break down if a court order could be flaunted merely because you chose to enter a passcode on something to lock it down. Sometime our privacy rights give way to the police's need to solve crimes and hold criminals responsible.
Are you saying now that police could just require me to turn over the passcode to my phone?
No. And people don't need to be worried about police being able to improperly reach into their phones. Courts are the safeguard that all of us have for overreach by the government.
But Webster says that's not always true, and this case proves it. He says if police want a search warrant for your home, they need to tell a judge what they're looking for. But in this case, he says a judge gave police permission to search his client's cell phone, even though they never explained what evidence they were trying to find.
You just can't arrest someone and say, give us your cell phone, and hey, by the way, we want to look at pictures on your phone, your kids' pictures, communications with your wife or your spouse. We want to look at your emails. We want to look at what you're doing on Facebook. There wasn't anything identified. They just wanted to do a forensic download on the entire contents of the phone.
He says the same thing could happen to anyone.
Who's impacted by this?
Anybody that has a cell phone.
Now the court is being asked to decide just how far police can go.
Everything about you is on your phone.
And just how private your passcode really is.
We need those questions answered. Both the public needs it answered, but also law enforcement needs to know what the limits are.
8 other states have submitted arguments in this case because they know the court's decision could impact millions of people. It's possible, even likely, this case will eventually end up before the U.S. Supreme Court. For now, all eyes will be on Indiana when justices hear oral arguments on April 18th.
So, Bob, what happens if police ask to see your phone and they ask you for your passcode? I mean, what are our legal rights here?
2 separate issues going on here. If you want to give that information to police, you can certainly voluntarily do that. But police do not have a right to search your phone without your permission unless they have a search warrant.
But police can confiscate your phone at a crime scene or even an accident, right?
Yes, they can, but to actually look at the contents of your phone, that requires a warrant. Now, of course, the separate issue here is once police have that warrant, does that also mean that you have to give up your passcode? That's what the state Supreme Court is about to decide.
And I know you'll be following that for us.
We
Bob
will.
Siegel, thanks.
Yes.